great NLP technique. Now, perceptual positions were used by Gandhi in his negotiations. NLP codified the work of other people's experiences, experts and leaders in their field that naturally do things. NLP distilled exactly what they were doing and created techniques and methods of replicating the success of highly successful people. Now, Gandhi was highly successful negotiator. He believed that India could rule itself, while the occupying British forces believed that India was part of their glorious empire and needed to be ruled by them. Now, what Gandhi would do was to imagine that he could see the world from the viewpoint of the British officer that he was going to talk with. So he would imagine floating out of, if you like, his own body and floating into and seeing the world through the eyes of the British officer. Now, rather than believing that they were an aggressive, dominating force wanting power and dominion over the citizens of India, they genuinely believed what they were doing was right for India, while Gandhi believed that what was right for India was what the people of India decided. So he would float out and he would imagine seeing the world through the perspective, through the eyes of the British officer, and through the filters that they were there to help, that they were there genuinely to do good. And he would see himself. He would see himself sitting there at the other side of the table through the eyes of the British officer. Now, when you use perceptual positions, everything you know about the person. So, if we know about the representational system they favour, because of the predicates they use, or the eye-axis and cues, or any of the other visual clues that you pick up as to which rep system they use, fantastic. It's a great clue to how they think. If you know that this person is a very fluid communicator, they always seem relaxed and very fluid in their, or if they seem really rigid and tight in their movements, how do they hold themselves? Their physiology, their ways of thinking, their attitudes, their beliefs, the metaphors, everything that we've looked at, and everything that's still to come, everything that you know about a person, if you put yourself in their shoes and imagine seeing the world the way they see it, experiencing the world the way they experience it, will give you a huge insight into the way that they think. And you could then imagine floating out of that person into a third position, where you can actually observe yourself and this other person having the conversation. Now, knowing your own point of view very well, and having experienced as best you can imagine the other person's point of view, you can sit from a third person perspective and see the interaction, the exchange between the two people, and gain yet another insight, a valuable insight. And when you do this, take these different perceptual positions of your communication that's going to happen with another person, you give yourself the advantage, because you've taken the time to just imagine. It may sound like a bit of a wacky way out technique, but it's simply just gaining an insight into how another person views the world. If you can better understand them, and you know yourself, you are in a much more powerful position to be able to communicate with them better, because you understand deeper their motivating reasons, their desires. And from the third position, you can see the interaction. So try this technique. Take a moment. Today, I very seldom give you exercises that you have to take a minute or two of your time to run through. Normally, as you know, they're things that you can just do whilst you carry on your day. But today, I think it is highly advantageous to you just to take a moment or two to try a perceptual positions with somebody that you know you're going to have a conversation with, especially if there's any kind of confrontation. But even if there isn't, try it with somebody that you're going to communicate with today, and have fun with this insightful technique.